So your wilderness tabernacle has 4 skins. We've got a fine linen with cherubs, really thin. You wouldn't want to wear this in public. Real thin, fine twine linen. We've got a wool blanket on top of that. Wool will dissipate the heat. There's wool tents they make, entirely wool. They keep in deserts that keep cool because the heat goes up, and when it rains, the fibers contract and becomes waterproof. This is 28 by 40. This is 28 by 44, but you fold over the last panel in half. The panel is 4. You have an extra panel of 4 cubits on the wool going over the 28 by 40. We got a 28 by 44 wool. It says you bend it in, you double it for the front of the tabernacle. So now we move that back to touch the front of the tabernacle and make it even with the linen. And we have back here half a curtain, half of 4. We have two here. We have 2 that drapes over the back side, and then we have 1 on the edges that hangs over. Two cubits on the front, 1 cubit hanging over the linen curtain. Above that, we have red ram leather. It does not give any dimensions. It makes it sound like you should build it however you want to. It's a tent for this. So Moses, if you know how to make a tent for something, make a tent for this out of red ram leather. And then there's badger skins above that. I would picture badger skins as like still having the fur on it. So 4 layers. You got your linen, your wool, red ram leather, and then badger skins. I imagine this would be like would still have the hair on it. For some reason, I just imagine it that way. So imagine that's a person lying down, and this is their hairy chest. This red leather is the under the skin is where you start to bleed. The wool would be the fat layer under your skin, and then the linen is the imaginary what you need that would surround your heart. This whole linen is covering the heart of the temple, the incense altar, the holy of holies, the mercy seat and such. So if that linen represents, how light your heart should be and see-through, most hearts are stony, circumcise the foreskin of your heart, that linen. But I don't really necessarily, doesn't that make a good story? I don't necessarily believe that. This 4th one, this one says it's a tent for the tabernacle, and that this is the tabernacle and these are the dimensions, 28 by 40. 28 by 40 is the linen, but 12 by 30 is the gold walls. Don't make gold walls, make gold poles to stretch out over the 28 by 40. And you're gonna have spaces in between. I think this 4th layer up here, these badger skins, this is what you carry all the furniture in. You got your menorah, you put a blue linen over it, and then badger skins, and carry it. All the utensils for that, you put in badger skins, put them on a pole, and carry it. This is the Kohathites did this. That's where Korah, the Kohathites, his son down the line, Korah, that's his rebellion. These guys were the ones that were carrying it by hand. The other articles were carried on carts that they were given over a 12-day period. The Kohathites had to carry it. So they're complaining after 38 years. They're like, hey Moses, these guys doing all the work, carrying these things, 40 different places, setting it all up and by hand. Going to Moses saying, hey Moses, you take on too much. Like, no, that's what the hardest guys working in the whole neighborhood are coming to the boss saying, you take on too much. You take on too much. We're doing all this work. Yeah, let's distribute all this work to more of the community. We are working too much, was their point. So this 4th layer, I think, is not included in the tabernacle. I think that's what you carry the tabernacle in, badger skins. It's the covering. You on the gold altar, you cover it with blue linen, and then you cover it with badger skins and carry it and put it on a cart. So even though you cover it with badger skins, it sounds like you carry it with badger skins. So I think that fourth layer badger skins is what you carry these 3 layers. So if the linen is 28 by 40, you've got 1.5 cubit wide boards as posts holding that flat roof up. You can make a tent with no dimensions to cover that at your will, I would think. Something. Maybe it's the exact dimensions. Regardless, you've got that flat covering coming to your vertical gold pier posts. 11 meters away from that, you've got the courtyard fence with its posts and pins. These on the ground are pins for this tent. So you've got posts holding up 20 cubic sections, 100 cubits lengthwise, 50 cubits widthwise. At this point, you're 11 cubits away from the gold from the outside. You've got a 10 cubit high gold and a half that size, 5 cubits, 7.5 feet tall. You've got a 5 foot high post for the outside port. If you brought that rope out to that port first and then dropped it down to pins to anchor it in, you would have 7.5 feet by 15 feet that you could walk through. That would be, you wouldn't be stumbling. All your pictures of your tabernacle have all these. Your priests are going to be tripping over that. Your kids are supposed to be eating. Your family are supposed to be eating the sacrificial offerings in the holy place. That's the courtyard, not the little place in the. You're supposed to eat it in the holy place. The courtyard is the holy place. The whole tent is the Holy of Holies. There's not a vertical veil separating. There's a veil above on 4 pillars, the ark. That section under, that makes this whole thing the holiest of holies. It separates from the holy, the courtyard. The incense is going to be at the front. The bread's going to be at the front, away from that veil above. And the candle, the menorah is going to be over here. And quite frankly, you can track the moon with it by putting it at 19 different shadows of where that comes down. So if you've got lines coming from 10 meters to 5 meters, and then finally anchoring in pins, and that's your tabernacle, all flat still, those 2 pieces, that's your tabernacle. He says make a tent of red ram leather. That you would have these lines coming out already. You could just lay over, encompassing the whole 100 yards, 100 cubits by 50 cubits. More to follow. Regardless, we got your red ram leather, and it's pretty clear that this is the tabernacle. The first 2 layers, the linen and then the wool, are the tabernacle. The tent above it, and even the badger skins. Though I say it's for carrying, it's pretty clear in some places. Maybe we'd have to do a word study on it. It's pretty clear. You put it here, you put this above, and you put the badger skins above. It makes it sound like it's one unit. I'm just saying, if you got red ram leather as a tent going over, it's going to go all the way out to the courtyard walls. So this is going to be a giant ventilation system with your wool on top. Your wool on your leather. Your leather is 5 curtains sewn together. 5 curtains sewn together. These 2 sections coupled together with 50 loops here and 50 loops here of blue. And then gold latchets, but we will see later that a pole goes above that with rings, that the rings hit the latchets, holding up the middle of those 10 curtains, holding up the middle of those 10 curtains. The wool has a 6th curtain that you break in half. Therefore, you have to slide it back. Its 5 couplings of brass on wool is now off-centered 2 cubits from the linen. The linen is centered at 5 and 5. The wool is centered 2 meters off of that. So the brass never touches the gold. This gold with the blue fringe, think about blue fringe. Think about blue fringe. Additionally, the wool on either side is 2 cubits over on front and back, and 1 cubit over on the sides. If that were to be raised up so that it does not touch the linen and you have that airspace in there, this linen, as it blows, is going to billow. It's going to make a billowing effect where this is actually breathing. And the breath is going to be coming out at this opening here, this 1 cubit opening. Excuse me, the breath is going to be coming out either side. This is 2 cubits, and it's going to be blocked because it's only lifted 1 cubit. The far side, 2 cubits hanging over if it was lifted up 1 cubit, so that the side overhanging 1 cubit is now level. Instead of hanging over, it's above and level. You're creating an empty space up there, and this linen, as it blows, is going to breathe like 2 nostrils. And then you've got the red, you got the hairy badger skins for the hair, you got the red skin for the red, you got the wool, you got the linen underneath. This is your tabernacle. This is your, it's not a tabernacle of gold walls. The gold boards have spaces in between to make up the 28 by 40 tabernacle. Lines coming over and hitting the courtyard. Blessings, brothers.